Most students think that paper 4 is about writing everything they know, and this is exactly why they get a bad grade. This video will show you how to think like an examiner, and that is how you get an A star. What's up guys, welcome to the new video. If you like this video, please appreciate the video by giving it a like, a share and subscribe, and without any further ado, let's get into it and let's get into what paper 4 really is. Paper 4 is not about knowledge. It is about argument, precision, and judgment. You answer 2 essays from one section in 1 hour 45 minutes if you do not have any reasonable adjustments such as extra time. So you have roughly 50 minutes per essay. If we're going to be exact, 52.5 minutes per essay. Each essay carries 30 marks. The paper total is 60 marks. The only thing examiners care about, and the only two things Cambridge marks you on, are assessment objective 2, which is analysis and judgment. This is the most important. It requires balance, clear argument, sustained judgment. And in order to score level 5 in this mark band, you need a sustained line of reasoning, a focused and balanced argument, and a clear judgment. So, sorry for the delay in flipping the slides. This slide tells you what is paper 4. So as I had said, now I will reiterate it because I think it's important and I hope it helps you. 2 essays, 1 hour 45 minutes, 60 marks total. Answer from one section, only about 50 minutes per essay. What examiners want: clear argument, consistent analysis, strong judgment, precise knowledge, avoid storytelling and listing facts. And now we are onto the marking system. So AO2 analysis and judgment is the most important. It requires balance and sustained reasoning. Now, so we have already agreed on the fact that you need a sustained line of reasoning, a focused and balanced argument, and clear judgment. Now let's move on to assessment objective 1, which is essentially knowledge. And as this slide says, AO1 demands that knowledge must be precise and relevant. So it must support your argument. And in order to score the top marks in the level 5 mark band, you need to be consistently precise, wide-ranging, and fully focused on argument. So knowledge must be wide-ranging and fully focused on argument. So to translate this into simple terms, for an A star, the argument comes first and the knowledge comes second to support your argument, and it shouldn't be the other way around. Now, the number one mistake which students make, and thus they fail, it's that most students write like paragraph 1 facts, and then paragraph 2 more facts, and then conclusion short opinion. That is narrative, and hence it is only level 2 or level 3, which is a low level indicator. Why? Because narrative that is not answering the question gets penalized by the examiners, who hate narrative but love a consistent through line. At any time while I'm reading your response, I want to see what your argument is. And examiners literally mark this as, you can see the annotations when you get your scripts back from Cambridge. They mark this as NAR, narrative, and then the little omission sign indicates an unsupported assertion, and therefore you don't get AO2 marks. Now, the system for getting an A star, I would highly encourage you to memorize this system, as we had a system for papers 1 and 3, is that every paragraph must follow the structure of point, explanation, evidence, judgment. And An A star explanation is that economic weakness was the most important reason for Mussolini's rise, for example. This mattered because it created mass instability, making extremist solutions attractive. For example, unemployment reached 2 million and inflation surged after the First World War. Therefore, while fear of socialism was important, while fear of socialism was significant, economic collapse was the crucial key driver because it directly changed voter behavior. Now, notice in this exemplar excerpt that the argument comes first, evidence supports the argument, and there is judgment at the end. This is how you should write if you want level 5. So here is an illustration in the slides of the example that I had just provided. And now how to structure the whole essay. In order to employ an A-star structure, you need an introduction of circa 5 lines only. And your introduction should answer the question directly. It should give judgment, define criteria. And an example is this essay argues that economic factors were the most important cause, although political instability and elite support also played a quite significant role. Now, 3 to 4 analytical paragraphs should follow. So each paragraph should have constant evaluation and one factor. And now your conclusion after these 3 to 4 analytical main body paragraphs, your conclusion is very important. It should not merely be a summary of the essay. It must compare factors and provide a final judgment. This is what it absolutely must do. So an example is like something along the lines of, overall, in conclusion, while multiple factors contributed, economic crisis was decisive because it created the conditions in which all other factors became effective. And now, what does balance actually mean? Before I move on to this section, here are the slides for the structure for you to look at. And now we move on to the slide which discusses balance. Balance does not mean on the one hand, on the other hand. Balance means comparing importance, relative significance. An example is to think like a historian, to think in terms of causation and change over time. Although propaganda was significant, it depended on the existing fear of socialism, thus making fear the more fundamental cause. And this is how you get level 5 in terms of assessment objective 2. Now, in terms of how to use knowledge, AO1 properly, most students tend to dump facts, while A-star students that are distinguished from the cohort in terms of the quality of their responses, they are selective with their facts. So the mark scheme literally says that supporting material must be focused on the argument. A bad response would say Mussolini did this, then he did this, then he did this, while an A-star response, by contrast, would say that Mussolini's use of violence increased support because it eliminated opposition. And your knowledge always must answer, so what? And now, in the next section, I would like to advise you on how to pick questions strategically. The paper gives you options like Mussolini, Cold War, Stalin, and the USA. So the rule is pick questions where you can compare factors, argue clearly, and give a sustained, original, and interesting judgment, not just where you know facts. So in terms of time management, as it outlined on the previous slide, um, there is 5 minutes of planning, as I outlined on the slide, 40 minutes writing, and 5 minutes to check your work, which is essential. Planning is key, and top scripts always plan, which is confirmed in examiner reports. and in the example candidate responses in the model answers provided by Cambridge. So, what do top scripts do based on real examiner insight? In top level scripts, the A star answers define criteria, stay focused, analyze in every paragraph, link back to question constantly, and give judgment throughout. And now, in terms of uh, a final A star checklist, before you finish your essays, ask yourself, did I answer the question directly? Did I compare factors? Did I give judgment in every paragraph? And is my knowledge precise and relevant? And if the answers to all of these questions are yes, then you're operating within the A or A star mark band. Marking is not mechanical, so I cannot predict exactly which mark you will score, but I can guarantee and warmly assure you that if you meet these criteria and tick off all of the boxes in this checklist mentally, you are having a good chance, a good shot at scoring an A or an A star. Now, in terms of your closing and having a strong ending, paper 4 is not about being the smartest and knowing all of the facts that you have covered on the course. It is really about thinking like an examiner. If you evaluate consistently, argue clearly, use precise evidence, an A star is not difficult. It is within the range of what you can achieve, and it is predictable. Now, that's all for today, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, and if you found it useful, please appreciate the video by throwing a like, share, and subscribe. And good luck, all the best. I love you all. I believe in you all. You've got this. Take care. Cheers. Bye bye.